So everybody, welcome. I'm giving you the link just in case you want a bit.ly link to that. Here is a bit.ly link to it. And if you click on that, then I will see your pictures here. You see like anonymous duck. So I will see more people coming, and that means you get that. Okay, that's a record of all that we do. You see, today is August 23, and that is what we will be talking about today. But there is a bit more goodies around here. One of them is, I'm skipping my own name. That's not one of the goodies, but webinar folder is here, and that is a collection of every supporting document that I need. So if you need anything there are lots of slides and everything else. But today we're not using any of that. Instead, I will introduce, especially to those people who are new, I will introduce the learning path. Here's the learning path that starts pretty much in the beginning, and just like in Alice in Wonderland, goes all the way to the end. But the end is what keeps moving. So as you can see, 49 of them. Everything that I would say is interesting to learn. And to repeat the previous statements, Andrew Ng changed his mind. He used to say that, no, guys, you don't have to learn programming. And just 2 weeks ago, he changed his mind. And now he says, everybody here has to learn programming. Now, that is a groundbreaking, earth-shattering statement, because that puts some demands on you and on all of us. But if he's right, then we'll be happy that we started early. So that's one. And the other one is that in another of his letters, he says, it seems like we have to learn all the time. We cannot stop learning. And what I have for you is 3 new courses. So if we don't do at least something about them, then how are we going to keep up? So the last allusion is to Alice in Wonderland, where they had to run just to stay in place. And Alice said to the queen, she said that in our place, you need to run to get somewhere. And the queen said, no, no, in our place, you need to run just to stay where you are. All right, with all of those, I'm closing those. And I'm going back to what we're going to talk about today. So first of all, we will talk about building AI applications with Haystack. And by the way, there is no link, and that's not nice. So let me do this. Let me go back here. Anyway, I would want to show you the structure. So that's built-in AI application by Haystack. That is the major area, what this is about. And this is the link. So I'll go to that link, copy that, and I will put it here so that you have complete information. Okay, here. All right, so you have that, but then the structure of this spreadsheet is like that. The course gets into here, it's classified by me, kind of classified. And then we have a same course, but in our repository. So that course, by the way, is in our repository. So let me put that link here. If I go to GitHub, and if I go to here, OpenAI Labs, then this is one right here, 49. Okay, so I'm giving you that link. What is the difference? Okay, the difference is that we verify it, run it, make sure it works, and that's always a work in progress. So here we first create a done status, then it goes to the next level, accepted, and all of that. So as a typical work in progress, it's a demo, and demos never work. That's my rule. but at least this one has a chance. And many of the previous ones have lots of chances to run. That's where they are. Some of them I demo routinely, and they always work, almost always work. Okay, so now with that, we can go back. Now, what is this? That's a new course just published. And the major idea is that many people want to build AI applications. Not everyone wants to build them from scratch. And so the idea is that here's a framework. That's a framework that involves building things when you start from a framework. And that's what this framework is called Haystack. It's an open source framework. You can play with that, and we indeed play with that. Now, here it is, right? The only thing is that I didn't have all the keys that I needed. So let me do this. I will stop sharing for just a second, and I will attempt to put as many keys as I possibly can. So stopping the share. And asking my colleague, where are the keys? And she says 48. You can get the keys from there. Let's try that. Not quite. So we will have to limit ourselves to just reading, which is good enough. You know, I'm showing the screen back. And that's what we're going to do. So we will limit ourselves to looking at the framework and the building blocks, and then we will see what it does for us. And then maybe we'll be motivated enough to try it. Now, we can also look at what the company is about, but that's beyond what we want to do right now. So what we want to do is get that library. That's all installed. So far it might even work. Well, let's try that. So we're saying, don't bother us with the statements. Load.env is a standard way to load hidden keys. So there is a .env file there, but right now it's empty. Let me show you how it is working. So I'm going to that right place. And then over there it's the open thing. And you can clone that just as well. But this is the right place. So that right place has the same structure as all of our other labs. If you clone that to your machine, you will see this, okay? And the two very important files to start will be how to run the very first time and how to run. So let me show you how to run the very first time. Open the how to run first time, and that gives you all the instructions that you need to do. I just verified that it all works. So if you copy that one and run, then it works. What it does, it will create a virtual environment just for that lab and no other lab, so that there is no conflict. So you run through this and install all the rights components. And that is where I am missing right now the values. So that will tell you that you want to talk to OpenAI, and that seems to be a regular OpenAI and not some not Azure. That's Cohere. It's another library. And finally, this is a new key that I have not even tried. In any case, that works. And then when you run the next time, what you do is this. You say open how to run this time. Just run when it is ready, and it has already created this environment. So you activate this and you run. Easy, right? Let's check that I have activated this. No, interestingly enough, I have not activated this. So we do this. We say source. And if everything is right, then it should be there. Okay, let's do that source. It works, it was there, and now I'm in the environment called 49. Okay, with that, I can run. Let us do this. I think I ran it without much thinking, so I'm closing that. But now I'm running it again, so I'm saying, Jupyter, please run the lab and pick up that environment. Okay, and with that, it is happy to start. So it reads this empty key storage, but then it should be able to really load the libraries because that I have installed. Okay, at a certain point, it will break, but not right away. I think it's creating. Okay, so now we can see what we're doing. We're setting up the environment. That's a framework for us. And you see, it's a real framework. It does the work. It's calculating the embeddings. So we expect all of the reg system components to be there. And it seems like I'm missing the very first key. It should tell me which key I'm missing, but that I promise that I will not have that key. And connection error, of course, because I don't have the right key. Right. So what we do is the regular reg architecture. First of all, we give the documents. The documents are all found right here under data, and we get them from the data. We take these documents and calculate the embedding. What is the embedding? That's converting the text to a number, and not just a number, but a vector, a bunch of numbers, usually about 500 to 2000 per each document fragment. That's how much. And then we write those embeddings into a document store. Now, what is this document store? That is a vector database that stores all of my texts together with the embeddings. So with that, we are now in the world of the framework. The framework. What is the name of the framework? We said it is Haystack. So we're in the world of the Haystack framework. And we understand that we are dealing with the regular architecture, with the regular reg, where you take all the documents, convert them to numbers, and then connecting components. So all of that, you would have to do it on your own. All of that, you would have to do it with the certain architecture in mind. But they're giving you a framework where you can connect different components and swap them out. Then you want to do document search pipeline using AI, of course, and using the regular text embedding. That is the standard step, except that they put it into a framework. Okay, now I have a quick question from someone. It's not a question, it's just hello. Hello from Ecuador. Okay, great, wonderful. Thank you, Julio. Now, what next? We saw the beginning. What next is that let's build a customized reg. In other words, we have just taken all of our documents. We have stored them in the database, in the semantic database. Now let's build a complete system. Reg stands for boy, I forgot what reg stands for. That's a little bit embarrassing, but what do you do when you forget? You ask. Retrieval augmented generation. Okay, I can justify my forgetfulness by saying that these terms really are very artificial and they don't mean anything. What they want to say is that you take your documents, put them into your semantic database, and then run your question. Well, how is that retrieval augmented generation? Not clear, so everybody can forget what it means and just use the word rabbit. All right, and that's what we're building. Customized rabbit. We're taking our documents, then we are building a prompt. We're saying build a prompt. Now, prompt is also a standard step in building such things because prompts are teaching you correct polite behavior talking to ChatGPT. So don't just ask a question. No, give it a structure. For example, here we're giving it a structure and then my query goes into a structure. Here you can also add additional rules of good behavior. Okay, then you are building a pipeline, but now we're customizing its behavior because we're giving something else to the prompt. In the end, we'll get the reply. All right, we saw how that works. Let's continue. New summarizer. So we'll use that same framework, but now it will be a news, and that would not be a great big new thing, but a new summarizer will use AI and summarize it through multiple documents. So that will be already the application. Now, what really was important is the first two. They give you the structure, and these are practical applications. Let's continue. Fallback with branching pipelines, that's already memory. And memory means that whatever AI I use, it does not remember. The reason when you talk to GPT, it remembers it's an additional layer, and there is no such layer implemented, so you need to do it. So here is a memory component for you, and specifics of memory can be like this. You can say, just remember the last 10 questions, or whatever we said, or summarize the previous discussion because it was too long. That is usually the implementation of memory, and you can see that Haystack as a library implemented all of these so that you don't have to. Now, I see one interesting thing. I see that our BM25 retriever, that's a popular keyword index based search. So both ways of searching will be included. There will be a keyword search and also a AI-based search, the semantic search. Okay, that's what I always saw, a need for both at the same time. Finally, self-reflecting agents with loop. That is going back to what I showed you a while ago, that you can talk now to your databases in a native English language, or probably I never tried in another language. So the result then tells you what it's thinking. That's a very popular design pattern that it says, oh, well, I'm thinking of that. I see this databases, for example, or I see those things I should be thinking about when I'm asking the question. So that will tell you all that it's thinking about. And finally, the last one, chat engine. That's the final crown achievement, kind of final project where we create a chat engine based on all of that. And that chat engine will also include the function to use. So these are all the popular elements of today's built-in AI. And here's the framework for you. So I have one more question from someone, and that Sasha has to go, which is okay, great. But keep in mind that everybody will get a recording, so you can always review what was shown. All right, that's what I promised. I promised you a review of a new framework That's out in the open. And I think that next time, I always promised us, next time I'll show you a more working version. That's exactly what happened with the improving LLM accuracy with Llama. So that will be my next subject. So first of all, I showed you the haystack framework. And secondly, here is the Llama. Now, Llama we already looked at, and it gives you a lot of promise. And the major promise is that you can fine-tune them, which you cannot do with any other non-open model. Even though they tell you that here is the framework, here is how you can fine-tune it. But the truth is that it's a stolen or hijacked terminology. You can only really fine-tune it if you have the model and you have the model downloaded and you can change it. And that's usually only applicable to the open models. Llama is an exact example of open model. Now, how can you compete? How can you compete with ChatGPT, which has 10,000 GPU working for it all the time? And in addition, Google was the first cloud that introduced ChatGPT, introduced GPU on demand. So you can run your functions for only that instance on ChatGPT. That happened yesterday, I think. All right, so we are left with the world of open models, that's Llama. But the promise then is that you can modify it for your specific goal. So no, you cannot compete with ChatGPT. But what you can do is for your specific application, add your data and put it straight on your mobile. And then you will be retraining. So that is here. We can run it. The only problem is that it requires heavy machining. Let me show you what I mean. So we should go to Lemini, and that's what we discovered. And that is based on this. In other words, yes, you can get the model, you can get the Llama model with all the great things, but you need the hardware to train it. And who is going to give you hardware? And most likely, your own personal computer will not do it. Therefore, there is such a company called Llama where it will do it for you. The only problem, and that problem comes up only when you research. Let's look at pricing. All right, so what options do you have on pricing? First of all, you have a free pricing, which sounds very nice, and it promises 5,000 inference requests per month, and that's good enough to play. The only problem is that that doesn't work. We tried it many times. And the reason it doesn't work is that currently the queue for free training is overloaded. So there are thousands of jobs in front of you. That's why it never works. It always times out. Now you can look to the right and look at customers. Customer, of course, says get in touch, contact us. So I expect that these prices to be much more. Nevertheless, okay, let's get in touch. Well, man, just trying to estimate how much money do I have. Well, let us start from individual developer. Well, maybe a startup. Before series. That will be the right thing. And why not send it to me? All right, that's the story. Now we have it running. Let me show you. We have it running, so we'll stop that here. We go into 46. Right here. And we open the same thing. We want to see how to run it. And let's assume we already did it the first time. Okay, so all I need to do is activate it. Let's do it. Okay, it activated. It's 46 now. All I have to do is to run Jupyter Lab. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so now we're going to run Lab 46 with all the components, as you can see, with the data, with the additional utilities. So yes, we download it all. We have prepared. The only problem is that I know eventually it will stop. Nevertheless, let's try to do the Llama with, again, the premise is that that's your personal implementation. You can do it for your clients, those who are concerned with their data leaking out. Llama doesn't leak anything out, almost. Because if you are using their server to train, then it is back to the question. Nevertheless, when you run it, at least it doesn't do it. So we should be able to at least load, import all the packages. And we were able. And that's the model we're going to point to. But I'm not really sure if we can do too much. We want to write a birthday card. Does it at all talk? Okay. It does at all work, but the very first basic task is generate some SQL for me. And that it should also be able to do. Everybody nowadays can generate an SQL, and that's great. I just showed a similar lab coming from Microsoft. That's all great. But as I told you, even though it can generate SQL, when you need real training, the agent would work, but the real evaluation will just send the job to the queue and let it stay there. All right, that is the second part. I wanted to show you what's going on in the world. Well, you have the whole framework to build your AI systems. You have a way to build them on top of Llama. And that will be alleviating all the security concerns. You can run it on your laptop. But back to what Andrew said about learning nonstop. I think I would totally agree with him. You do have to learn nonstop. Otherwise, next week there will be two more. I don't know what they are, but there will be two more courses. And then you will ask yourself, well, I heard about Llama, but I never learned what to do with it. So go back, learn that. And then you will ask, I know there is a Haystack wonderful network, wonderful framework. How would I do that? And it's another week that you missed. All right, that's all I wanted to say about this, but it's not enough. Okay, there's a new course. It's called Data Engineering Professional Certificate. So, first of all, let's go there. All right, sounds like a data engineering professional certificate, but let's go inside. It turns out that it is a very specific platform who puts that out. In other words, you want a certificate in data engineering? Well, by now, there are specializations. Which cloud will you be in? Well, that one, if you go just a little bit inside, right here, and look at what exactly that is, you see, by the way, it takes you quite a lot of time. And then you see that it's all going on top of, any guesses? Amazon. That's the real story. Let's open anything that will tell us what are we going to learn. Well, what we're going to learn is specifically Amazon way of doing data engineering. Well, it's kind of big areas of specialization. So that is not even started. If you want to be certified by Amazon in data engineering, that's one good way. It's not starting until I think 25th of September, if I'm not mistaken. I registered for everything. Okay, it says enroll early, but September 18th, that's when it starts, September 18th. But instead, I'll show you something else. I'll show you what I am going to teach to a government organization. And what I'm going to teach is data engineering on Amazon, except that they call it differently. They call it big data on Amazon, but that is essentially the same thing. And I will show you just a little bit of what I'm going to do. So, professional secret reveal. This is the course, Big Data on AWS with Labs. And those who are educators or similar, they see that what you would want to learn or teach would be the regular stuff. How do I deal with a lot of data? How do I store a lot of data? How do I process that? So that is the normal outline of what you would want to do. Beyond that, you would want to cover every idea in more detail. You want to talk about buckets. Everybody has buckets. How do you deal with them? Well, that's where it lies in the detail. And for that, you just need to go to the labs. Now, the story with the labs is that they used to be quick labs, but it was bought by Google. And so Amazon was kicked out and they created instead Skill Builder. So let me show you Skill Builder. Skill Builder, here you are. All right. Well, all of the labs that you want are really hidden in Skill Builder behind. And so you say monthly plan, sign in, all of that. But then you discover an amazing thing, and that amazing thing is that Amazon took a questionable way of implementing that. If you want to get a subscription, you can, but if you want to give it a credit card, you cannot. Instead, you need to subscribe through an Amazon account. And that would not be by itself that terrible, but you need to log in into this Amazon account as root. So honestly, I'm talking to the people inside Amazon and those who implement it and those who use it or sell it. Nobody can answer the question. I'm saying that goes against all security rules that you yourself guys do. But in any case, if you do that, and then you will want to look at your account, but here they all are. So if you want to learn Amazon, you don't even have to wait for that course. Instead, you can go search for the labs. How many labs are there total? AWS, maybe like that. So what? 1,000 results, right? So there are 1,000 labs. I tried it. It works. It's a little awkward jumping between screens, but it works. The end result is that if you want to learn big data on any cloud, well, I'll send you the outline. At least for these, you can get your own certificate. Now you see the certificates are included, but that is just AWS certification. What they advertise is data certification. In other words, I think you will agree with me. If you want to be messing with this area of science, computer science, whatever you call it, well, that's a lot of work. Choose your poison and keep going on this road. And I wish you honestly good luck. Not in the sense like I wish you good luck, haha. No, I really do. So what I will do is this. I will stop share. I will stop talking. And I will restart talking again, but I will ask a question. And the question will be, do you have questions? And if you want to chat, fine. But if you want to ask for enable my mic, please, I will be very happy to enable your mic, right? So whoever says, I want mic, just say this. Say mic, like this. And everyone will hear you, and everybody will hear you. But meanwhile, I'm summarizing what we've seen. Well, what we've seen is a lot of multiple stuff. We talked about how you can build a new AI using a framework, and that was Haystack. We talked about how you can build a smarter, albeit a more specific application area with Llama. And finally, oh, look, here's a new data engineering certificate. By the way, in the end, you will find out it's Amazon only. But no problem. The Google has these same labs, but they are all in Google. So there is a lot of opportunity to learn and to use. Right. I hope I didn't discourage you. There is one question mark, or maybe at least one hands up and allowed to talk. Yes, you're allowed to talk. Julio, you're very welcome. All right, good question. So Julio, if you are talking, your mic is not enabled right now, but Jinana or Hinana, your question is how can we access the Word document with the learning plan? That's a beautiful question. So I'm going back to share. And here is the advances link. So what you need is this. Okay, I'm giving that to you on the chat here, and I'm answering exactly your question. This is your link, so please open the link. Clicking on it does it. Once you open on it, you will have the webinar folder and the learning path. So you can save these links for your future use, but you see that if you click on it, that's the learning plan. That's where it comes up. And honestly, I'm revealing all of my secrets because who needs the trainer if you have all of that? Well, the answer is a corporation who wants you to come and teach them, wants the trainer. And not only that, I'm going to teach 3 days next week, this coming week. I'm going to teach 9 days the next 2 weeks. And that's just proving that AI helps you understand who you are. What is special about humans that is not there at AI? Now, when AI becomes indistinguishable from humans, we'll go back to this question and discuss it again. But right now, students want to see the teacher, confuse the teacher, impress the teacher, irritate the teacher, right? They want human interaction, and that's why I'm going back to teaching. Well, of course, there's also one involved, but I think we will know. Yeah, of course you can. I'm giving, can you get in touch with me? So the easiest is just mark at AI. But that link that I gave you, it also has my other email. Okay, I hope that's what you're asking. Do you have a glossary? Sure, by glossary, you mean, well, there are two things. First of all, there is everything that I teach or we teach as a company that's found right here. Okay, I'll just give you the major link. But if your question is glossary of AI terms, then no, I would say no, because it's like glossary of the English language. It who knows what you want to talk about. So I don't have a glossary yet. Maybe, Shar, maybe you can ask a bit more detail. Okay, glossary of AI. There you are, Nicholas. Thank you so much. Let's open that. Okay, glossary of AI. Okay. But that's philosophy, guys. That's philosophy. I have a minute. I'll show you a philosophical thing. Okay. That's about Zen. But the major point, and you know what, I will download that. Okay. And I wonder if I can simply drop it in our chat. If I can, I'll do. No. Seems that no. Okay, well, I'll put it in our in this place, and that's what we talked in the end. Glossary. The question was glossary. And the answer was, let me drop this story there. So in order not to confuse you, I'll tell you what the point of that story is, that it's only human to human. You ask question, I understand what you really mean. Because as I explained the last time, I'm working on the approach where there is not one truth in the world, but multiple truths in the world. A classical number is 70 approaches, but practical number is 3 approaches to truth. And that story illustrates exactly that. So I'm not going to read it right now. You can read it on your own. And I don't see that it goes all the way to the end. Okay, I'll work on that. I'll work on that. It goes off the bit. Even the beginning is good enough. And the essence is, as I told you, you need to throw away all of your logical understanding. And you just need to understand it. All right. I'll close it, not to embarrass myself. All right. Thank you very much. Great question. And if you have any more questions, well, I just put my email here and you can write and ask for more. Okay. So thank you very much. Everyone be well. And I wish you a great weekend and then a great new year in front. Okay, Haystack is interesting, and you have all the links, right? Yes, Johnson, I think you have the link. It's easy to find. All right, everybody be well. Goodbye.